So HBO Max has finally released Tom and Jerry, the live-action CGI animated film, in theaters and on HBO Max. If you want to go ahead and watch it, make sure to go sign up to either HBO Max or you can go to your local theater, depending on where you are, to go watch Tom and Jerry. But in today's video, we're going to be doing a review on Tom and Jerry. Hey guys, before we start off today's video, y'all make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells. Here on this channel, we upload trailer reactions, we do movie reviews, and we update everyone in the wonderful world of movies by uploading movie news once they come out. We talk about Star Wars, DC, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, The Godfather, all kinds of movies. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you're in the right place. This is a channel for movie fans and for us movie geeks to geek out about the wonderful world of movies. So if you like movies and if you're a big cinephile like I am, then you're in the right place. Now, let's cue that intro. So when the first trailer for Tom and Jerry dropped, or I think it's the only trailer, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section below, but when the first trailer for Tom and Jerry came out, I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought it would be a really good movie. It looked good, the animation is what intrigued me the most. The fact that they went back to the Who Framed Roger Rabbit's and Space Jam days was actually pretty cool, except with like an updated CGI. I was never really worried about this film. This film actually seemed like it was going to be good from the start. Michael Pena was the actor who I was most excited to see. I really love him as an actor. But this film, let me get some good out the way. So some of the good in this film is the animation. The CGI animation actually looks relatively very well done, and I am so glad they didn't go with the live action route in this film. I am so glad they decided to just animate them. I feel like the writers and directors and everyone working in this film were like, hey, you know what? Why don't we just do animation? I mean, how can you actually do Tom and Jerry live action? And I remember when I first heard of a Tom and Jerry live action film, I was like, how could you possibly do it? I mean, Sonic, we've already had a character who has had video games where there are humans in it. So there is kind of like a blueprint for that. But with Tom and Jerry, like, getting all those facial reactions, getting all those expressions, getting everything, that was a very questioning thing, and I am glad they went for the animation style. And some of the comedy in this film did land, but very, very few jokes did land. Like there's this one joke with Pena in it, and like where they reference Pena, and that joke was actually kind of hilarious. But that was one of the very few good jokes. Now let me get into the rest of the film. Now, this film, the animation and a few jokes, those were the only good things. This film really taught me that Tom and Jerry should not be done for longer than an hour. Tom and Jerry should only be less than a 20-minute cartoon. Tom and Jerry, at most, you can do 30 minutes. Because the whole thing about Tom and Jerry is that it's just a cat and mouse chasing each other over and over and over again. And when I watched this film, I kind of understood how do you even stretch out that concept of just a cat and a mouse chasing each other with violence happening. And this film proved you can't do that. That most of the film we follow this blonde girl, and it doesn't even feel like a Tom and Jerry movie. It feels like a movie just sponsoring this giant hotel, which honestly I don't know if this hotel is a real hotel. So y'all correct me if I'm wrong about that, but the whole film revolved around what's going on in this hotel rather than Tom and Jerry themselves. I felt like Tom and Jerry were like a side plot, and the whole plot of the story was about this blonde girl whose name I can't remember because that's how forgettable of a character she was, just trying to make a way and get a job at this one place and make sure she stays at that job. Now, this actress, I don't know who she is, but I remember watching her in Kick-Ass. She was great in that film, and she was also in the first Die from a Kid film. I thought she was a great actress. I remember for a while there was a lot of hype for her, but then you had movies like The Fifth Wave and this Tom and Jerry movie. And I'm sorry, her acting in this film was very poor, as she should not be the main character in a film. She struggles hard. There's lots of scenes where I feel like she was overacting, and I can't even remember her name. I apologize for that, but she to me struggled a lot acting wise. And then not only did she struggle, but I think everyone in this film as actors failed. The only one who didn't fail was the manager of the hotel, the the guy with the mustache, I think he was the only one, because I feel like it felt like he was the only one who was aware that he was in a kid's film. And he really brought his A game. I really liked him. But Michael Pena was the one guy who I expected to have fun with. I love him in Ant-Man movies as Luis, but Michael Pena really struggled. In this film, it felt like they were trying to do this villainy thing. They were trying to make him this bad guy. But I'm sorry, Michael Pena just did not bring his A game in this film. There's this one joke that's in the trailer where he says, "Don't put this on Twitter book, TikTok." That joke really doesn't land, and a lot of the jokes in this film just don't land. A lot of them are so poorly done, so poorly executed. It felt like they didn't do any research on any of the jokes they did. There was one little small joke at the back where it shows that one sad dog and it says "put on a happy face," kind of referring to the Joker. I love that. And the Peta joke I was talking about earlier too, that was hilarious. But every other joke was just boring and lame and nothing. And then not only that, but the thing I was most excited for was to see Tom and Jerry both fighting and arguing and bickering. But like I said, it felt like it was a side plot thing. It felt like it was a side thing. It didn't feel like it was truly a Tom and Jerry film. It felt like it was a movie about a girl trying to get a job at a hotel, but Tom and Jerry just happened to be in the side. And not only that, but the married couple, there's this rich, powerful couple that are famous on Instagram, apparently, who are about to get married. And I'm telling you, both of them were so god awful in their acting, especially the guy. The guy was just so bland and boring and generic, and the whole thematic message of this movie is to come together, because if Tom and Jerry can come together, then anyone can. And I'm sorry, that's just a lame theme. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel like it fit. It didn't feel, because most of the movie, Tom and Jerry just argue and bicker. And when they put out that theme, it felt so stupid. And, in a way, it felt like it was forced. It felt like it wasn't needed. And a lot of this film, that's what it felt. It felt forced and needed. And now another problem I had, this isn't a problem I typically have, but this movie had too many pop culture songs. Too many. The movie legit begins with rapping pigeons. I'm not even lying when I say that. The movie genuinely begins with three pigeons who rap, and throughout the movie you'll hear the pigeons, just make a few songs. In fact, there's a scene where Tom is doing a T-Pain voice. I don't get why all these animated movies always want to go ahead and put the most pop culture songs. To a point it gets ridiculous. It's not Suicide Squad level ridiculous where they put a song every 5 minutes, but to put pop culture songs, you really have to make it fit. You have to make sure it fits what's happening. You have to make sure it fits the tone of the movie. In this film, it felt like the writers and the editors, everyone working in the film knew, oh yeah, these kids aren't going to pay attention. Let's put this cool rap hip hop song so that way their attention span can continue. And that's what it felt like. And the whole film, I could not take them serious when they had all these rapping pigeons and every scene have like a hip hop song. And another little small thing that I really didn't like was the Alleyway Cats. They only appear in this film for like a good 5 or less minutes. Everyone who does the voice acting for all those cats did not fit. And this isn't even purely nostalgia. I don't even remember what they sound like in the original cartoons, honestly. But in this film, those cats, every voice actor, it just did not fit the character. It did not, like, when you heard the voice coming out of their mouths, it just didn't fit. It felt so weird and so surreal to a point where I was actually laughing at how dumb it felt. And now the big complaint I have about this film is, why do all these animated movies, why do they always want to make a movie where they go to a big city like New York? Okay, there are some movies that do this well, like the Smurfs movie. Even though I don't like the Smurfs movie, when they bring in New York, they bring it because it felt like it was part of the film. When they brought in New York, it was to show the struggle these characters are going through when they're going past the Big Apple. In Tom and Jerry, the whole movie takes place in this giant hotel. Like I said, I don't know if this hotel is real. I did not do any Google search on this, but It felt like a giant sponsorship for this hotel, and Tom and Jerry. It felt like the whole, oh, let's have it in New York subplot felt useless. I mean, they constantly refer that they're in New York, but it's like, you don't even have to tell us that you're in New York, because at the end of the day, it didn't matter. To me, what's the point of putting every one of these films in New York? It's always New York, by the way, but it's always in these bigger cities, and I don't like that. And like I said, my biggest complaint about this film, is the whole human plots. This film felt more like it was about the blonde girl. You do realize the title card says Tom and Jerry, and the two main characters are Tom and Jerry. Why are we making them the side characters to a movie called Tom and Jerry? The fans wanted to go watch Tom and Jerry. It's something I complain about the Godzilla movies, where it's more about the people than it is of Godzilla. When in reality, the film should be more about Godzilla. That's the title card. And even if you're going to go with more of the humans, you got to give us interesting characters. Like Godzilla 2014, they gave us interesting characters. This film did not. It just showed us this weird blonde girl who's terrible at acting, and, her performance was just god-awful. If you brought me an interesting character with a real development and a real plot and a real plan and a real strategy, then I would be into the film. But the film just didn't do that. And overall, this film just struggled. It is something that I have a problem with Hollywood. I've never minded the rebooted or CGI live-action films. I don't mind them. At the end of the day, winning cures everything. And if this film was great, I wouldn't have complained about it. But this movie proved a problem that's going on in Hollywood, and that is constantly making reboots, CGI live-action movies. And look, I like them. I like some of them. But at the end of the day, your number one priority should not be, oh, look, we have Tom and Jerry. That's not the number one priority. The number one priority should be, make this the best movie possible. Make this a good movie. And this film, it felt like that was just off to the side. The script seems awful. The acting was awful. Nobody brought in their A game except the manager of the hotel. And this film really needs some reevaluation. And I really hope we don't get films like this in the future. Of course, we're going to probably get them even more. And this is a problem with Hollywood. It feels like these rebooted live action movies, it's like there's no care to them. And I'm someone who's fine with reboots in live action movies. I'm fine with that. But you also got to worry about making them good, and that is the issue with this film. Anyways, my final score for the film is going to be a 2 out of 10. Yeah, I know that's a pretty low score, but this film deserves a very, very low score. In fact, I'm being generous with the 2 out of 10. And, I hope New York learns from, not New York. I hope Hollywood learns from this lesson. I don't understand why they went with this route. This film was just a lazy, bland, boring carbon copy paste of a film. It was pathetic. It was useless. When I turned off my TV, I felt like I just wasted an hour and 40 minutes of my life. And like I said again, I don't think Tom and Jerry are meant for a movie that is longer than an hour. I think they can handle less than an hour, or maybe they can handle less than 30 minutes. But over an hour is just too much of Tom and Jerry. The thing is, this film didn't even have that. It was just more about the blonde girl trying to get a job in a hotel, and I just didn't like that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells to be notified with more movie reviews, movie news, and everything in the wonderful world of movies in this channel. And yeah.